Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a possible Apple event next month in March. I am super excited about this one because there's at least two products that I'm really interested in purchasing. So I'm hoping that all of the rumors are true and that they are going to be hosting a spring event next month. But anyways, let's hop right into the video and talk about the very first product, which is the iPad Pro. This is the one that I'm looking forward to the most because right now I've got an 11-inch iPad Pro and I'm thinking about getting the 12.9-inch, especially because I use it for content consumption primarily, and the bigger screen real estate is going to be perfect for that. And I started doing some graphic design and artwork too, and I just think having a bigger screen will be better. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what we could be seeing with the brand new 2022 iPad Pro. And to be honest, it doesn't look like the iPad Pro is going to be getting a substantial upgrade this year. So I would say if you're someone that bought one in 2021, you probably don't need this one unless you're in a situation like me where you just want a bigger size. So with the new iPad Pros, we can expect mini LED screens, which was introduced last year. But the big change this year is it looks like the 11-inch model will be getting that mini LED display, which they didn't add last year. So now both displays are going to be using the same technology, which is fantastic. That was one thing that I was kind of upset about when I bought the 11-inch last year, was just the fact that the 12.9-inch had better screen technology. And with that technology, we're probably going to see a little bit of a price increase for the 11-inch too. But it is going to be a really nice upgrade compared to the LCD screen, because I've seen the mini LED and there's actually a pretty substantial difference. The mini LED displays allows for darker blacks and improved contrast over the LCD, and if you're someone like me that uses it for a lot of content creation and content consumption, you're definitely going to notice a difference. Now, there were some other leaks as well saying that we might be getting some MagSafe accessories for the iPad, which that would be really awesome. If the 2022 iPad Pro gets MagSafe charging, that is going to be a huge benefit. I love MagSafe, especially on my brand new 2021 MacBook Pro. They just need to add that to like every device in my opinion. And for the chip that's going to be powering the tablet, the current leaks are saying that the M1 Pro is going to be found inside, but there's also some other rumors going around saying that Apple is going to put their first 3nm chip inside of this. There's not a lot of information on this. It's basically just saying that there's going to be a boost in performance, which makes sense because it is going to be a new iPad. We would expect better performance, of course, but if that's the case, they might give it a whole new name. Maybe they will go with M2, who knows? I think what they're probably going to do is just put the M1 Pro, and then maybe on the higher end 12.9-inch, maybe have the M1 Max. I think that's kind of how they're going to do it, just like how they did it with the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. It also looks like we're going to be getting a larger battery, which is of course going to increase the battery life, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't look like the 2022 iPad Pro is getting that many upgrades, and a lot of people are saying that Apple shouldn't even release a new iPad Pro this year because of how minimal those changes are. And to be honest, I kind of agree, because it doesn't really seem like it's going to be worthwhile by any means, even though I'm going to be that person who's going to pre-order the new 12.9-inch. But that's besides the case. For the average person, there is no need to get this one over last year's. Alright, so the next product is the iPhone SE 3. There's some rumors going around that it might even be called the iPhone SE 5G. I think that just sounds a little bit weird, but I could totally see Apple doing that, like iPhone SE 5G. I don't know, it just sounds kind of weird, but anyways, that could be the possible name for this. So obviously the first major change that's going to be coming with this new iPhone SE is 5G connectivity. So if you're someone who has access to 5G and you want to get an iPhone SE, hey, this could be the product for you. And the expected price for this phone is going to be $500 US, so still keeping it at a budget-friendly level. It looks like on the inside it could be getting the A15 Bionic chip, which was found in the iPhone 13, and this is definitely going to improve the battery life on the iPhone SE as well. A lot of people were complaining about battery life on the last iPhone SE, so having a better processor and better battery life together should improve it quite a bit, but it's not going to be anything substantial. Like, I would expect maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of a difference. For the design, it looks like it's still going to look like an iPhone 8 with a Touch ID and everything, but it looks like the body could be slightly tweaked to look similar to an iPhone XR. I think as long as this thing has a home button, people are going to be happy, because when I worked at the Apple store, that was like the main driver for people to buy this phone. That was one of the main reasons. Like, a lot of customers that I encountered were like, I really want Touch ID, or they just wanted to spend less on an iPhone. So as long as the price is good and the Touch ID is there, I think this thing is going to sell like crazy. There hasn't been a whole lot of news on the cameras, unfortunately, but I would expect a minor upgrade there as well. So not a huge change with the new iPhone SE. It's really just 5G connectivity, a little bit better battery life, and a better processor with the A15 Bionic. So if you're someone anyone that bought the last one, you probably don't need to buy this one unless you just really want 5G, but even that, 5G is so new and it's just developing and getting more popular that I don't even think it's really worth it unless you live in like a major city. But yeah, it looks like we might be getting a brand new iPhone SE. Okay, on to product number 3, we are talking about the iMac Pro. This is another one that I'm really interested in because obviously Apple released their brand new 24-inch iMac in those beautiful colorways, which unfortunately did not include space gray, and that's probably because they were saving it for this brand new iMac Pro. Now what the rumors are saying is that the new iMac Pro is essentially just going to be a name change for the bigger regular iMac. So basically that means that there's going to be the 24-inch entry-level iMac, and then the bigger regular iMac, which was originally 27 inches, is probably going to be a little bit bigger due to thinner bezels, but it also looks like it's going to steal the name from the iMac Pro, eliminating that from Apple's lineup and just making the iMac Pro the bigger version of the regular iMac. Sorry if that got a little confusing, it's just a whole lot of iMac going on in my head right now. Apple is essentially just rebranding that larger iMac, and due to that name change, we can definitely expect some more power inside of this guy compared to the 24-inch. So what the rumors are saying is that we should be seeing at least the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips inside, and we should be expecting to see a lot of legacy ports added to these iMacs too. So yes, that means HDMI, SD card slots, USB ports, and possibly even Face ID. Face ID is one that I just think needs to be added. Like, finally, this thing needs to be on an iMac. It just makes so much sense. You're literally sitting right in front of the screen, and the Face ID camera is going to be right in front of your face anyways. So please, Apple, make this a reality. It just makes so much sense. Even though you can unlock it with your Apple Watch, Touch ID on the new keyboards, all of that good stuff, I just think it makes more sense to have a Face ID sensor right onto the computer. It would just be super ergonomic. You just sit down, you look at your computer, and it's unlocked. There you go. So fingers crossed we finally get that on the brand new iMac Pro. Now this iMac is definitely getting a pretty substantial upgrade, I would say, like legacy ports, a bigger display. I'm assuming the resolution's probably going to be a little bit better. Cameras might be improved a bit too. M1 Pro and M1 Max chips. This thing is definitely getting an upgrade, and it looks like the price is going to get an upgrade too. So be prepared to pay a minimum of $2,000 to get this thing. It is going to be a monster though. Like, keep in mind, this is going to be replacing the iMac Pro, which was a very expensive computer. But yeah, you should expect a brand new iMac to be shown at this Apple event. Next up is the iPad Air 5. Now this one doesn't look like it's going to be getting a huge upgrade either. Reports are saying that with the iPad Air, we should be expecting to see the A15 Bionic chip, 5G connectivity, and upgrades to the front and rear camera. There was also a ton of leaks and rumors last year saying that the new iPad Air was going to have an OLED screen, which yes, OLED has its pros and cons and everything, but I do prefer an OLED screen over the current screen that they have, and this is really going to enhance the display quality and make it kind of compete with the iPad Pros. Other than that though, it doesn't really look like a lot of other stuff is going to be coming to this new iPad Air. A lot of it's going to be pretty much the same. Like, we're still going to be getting a USB-C port on the bottom. The price is going to be pretty much the same too, because there's not really any significant upgrades. So that's the iPad Air. Now on to the final product that we could be seeing at the March 8th Apple event, and that is the 2022 Mac Mini. So the upgrades to the Mac Mini in 2022 is actually going to be pretty good. It looks like we could be getting the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips inside, which is going to be a pretty big difference compared to the last Mac Mini with the M1 chip. It also looks like we're going to be getting a minor redesign too. According to John Prosser, it looks like it's going to be a little bit slimmer, standing at less than an inch tall, and the body itself might be getting a slight change too, with a plexiglass top. The Mac Mini has looked pretty much identical for about 10 years now with the aluminum body, and I'm curious to see what that plexiglass top is going to look like, because I think it does have potential to look pretty cool, even though a lot of people just tuck their Mac Mini under something like this kind of monitor stand here. But I'm hoping that the redesign does look pretty good. And please make it available in space gray, because the M1 Mac Mini only came in silver, and I'm a huge space gray fan, so when I bought my Mac Mini in silver, it really stood out because all of my other Apple products are space gray. So please, Apple, bring space gray back. And the last two things that we're going to talk about related to the Mac Mini is the ports on the back and the RAM. So we should be getting 2 additional Thunderbolt ports, bringing us to a total of 4. We should also be seeing 2 USB-A ports, Ethernet, and HDMI. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're getting an SD card slot, which I know is going to upset a good amount of people, especially because Apple just added it back to their brand new MacBook Pros, so it would have just made a lot of sense to just say, hey, you know what, let's add it to the Mac Mini too. But unfortunately, that's that's not the case, so you will still have to live the dongle life if you do want to use an SD card slot with your new Mac Mini, or Apple could just surprise us and just add it in there. We don't really know until that March event happens. It also looks like we're going to be getting an increase in physical storage, so the Mac Mini will start at 256 gigs, and it's going to be configurable all the way up to 2 terabytes, which that's going to be a huge upgrade to physical storage on the Mac Mini. So if you're someone that likes to just keep everything on it, that is going to be great news for you. And on top of that, RAM is going to be configurable all the way to 64 gigs, which is crazy. That is a huge difference compared to the M1 Mac Mini, because the old M1 Mac Mini could only go up to 16 gigs. So if this thing is actually configurable up to 64, that's just going to be insane. Essentially, the 2022 Mac Mini is going to be an absolute powerhouse, and it's going to be the cheapest way for you to get your hands onto Apple's new processors. Honestly, I might think about getting one. I'm not 100% sure just yet, but this thing sounds like it's going to be an absolute beast, and I just might have to pull the trigger. And as for price, it looks like it's going to stay pretty much the exact same or drop by about $100, and either one of those scenarios is going to be good, because you're essentially going to be paying the same amount but getting way better hardware, or you're actually going to be spending less money and getting better hardware. So either way, it's a win. But yeah, that is the 2022 Mac Mini. I think the Mac computers are going to be the highlight of this event. The iPad Air and the iPad Pro don't really seem like they're going to be worthwhile, to be honest, but the iMac and the Mac Mini sound like they're going to be getting a lot of love at this event, and I think a lot of people are really going to like them and put a lot of pre-orders in. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video, guys. It looks like 4 products could potentially be revealed next month in March. The rumored date is March 8th, 2022. Leave a comment down below of what products you're most excited for, and do you think Apple should be releasing products like the iPad Pro and iPad Air pretty much every year if the upgrades are so small? Like, it's really nothing this year. Let me know down below what you guys think about that. Other than that, I just want to say thank you for watching the video, guys. I really appreciate it, and if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.